Alrighty, guys. We are rocking the crazy hair today. I talked about it yesterday, and I was like, perfect. I just getting started for today. We already made some coffee, so we're just gonna go ahead and pour that. It tastes like shit. So what we did today was mix the not so German coffee with the shitty like Beaumont tastes like Folgers chemical coffees. And it's not great, but it does the job of caffeination. However, bare minimum requires a decent bit of half and half and two hearty spoonfuls of brown sugar. I'm starting to really enjoy brown sugar in my coffee. And this is probably not a good thing because it's a lot more calories than regular sugar because that shit's like all loaded in molasses, you know? But here we are. So we're going to whip out the brown sugar. I do need to go to the store and get more sugar. Last time I went to the store, I forgot to get regular sugar. I'm not sure what I'm going to go shopping, to be honest, because I got enough food for probably like 2 weeks. So I'll just suffer through the lack of sugar for 2 weeks. But go ahead, put 2 little spoonfuls here. Oh man, I got some coffee on it. Don't want to get that in the sugar. Go ahead, put 2 little spoonfuls here with my coffee spoon, brown sugar. So I'm gonna start this video off. I've said it multiple times on video, but considering the topic, we're gonna say it again. I'm not suicidal, and I never will be, nor is there any kind of illicit, illegal material on any of my hard drives. The closest thing that might exist, I have a hard drive that doesn't work anymore from when I was in high school and college. It probably has a cracked version of GTA 3 on it, as well as Photoshop CS, and probably some downloaded songs and movies. That is the closest thing. I don't even know where that hard drive is anymore, nor if I can get it to work. There are some old videos and stuff I recorded with my friends that I think might be on there that I'd love to get off at some point. But like I said, I don't even know where that hard drive is. But the point is, if I disappear or suddenly get brought up on charges at any point in time in the future, really, or I just happen to die under mysterious circumstances, no, it wasn't me. So, man, I should have heated that up a little bit longer. I'm going to turn the coffee pot back on so when I'm done with this cup, it can. I don't want to put it in the microwave because the microwave makes it burn, especially. I suppose I could put it at a lower temp, but it already kind of tastes a little burnt. Anyways, let's talk about government surveillance. So, I don't know if you guys know what Palantir is. It's actually crazy that most people don't, as far as I could tell. So, one, it's one of the hottest stocks in the world right now, and it has been for several years. We went back over 5 years, and if you look at Palantir stock and compare it with Ubisoft stock, the hey Charlie, it just always waits till I start a video. If you look at Palantir stock and compare it with the Ubisoft stock, the line for both of them looks exactly the opposite. It's entirely mirrored. which is funny because a lot of people were like, "Oh, uh, big video game boom. Let's go invest in all the video game companies." And he's just being whiny, begging for attention. He asked me to let him in the house, and then he didn't go in the house, and now he's just like tripping me, so I can't sit back down on the chair. Uh, Unless Charlie kills me in an act, I'm giving the government ideas, aren't I? So yeah, Charlie agrees with me. Uh, so basically, what happens is people were like, like national security and old, all that's old hat. Like no one invests in that anymore. The military industrial complex is kind of at its peak. I think a lot of investors felt that, but now video games, that's the shit. Now, I'm not saying there aren't some video game companies that are doing great, probably, but if you look at all the layoffs and everything happening, clearly they expanded too much. And most of those large companies don't understand the product they're selling anymore. Because, like, just look at all these massive AAA games that are worth like they invested 500 million and they're lucky to get 1,000 people playing them. It's just ridiculous. So what is Palantir? Palantir is, for all intents and purposes, Big Brother. You know how in The Dark Knight, I'm not sure which one, but there was one of the Dark Knight episodes, I think it was the third one, episodes, movies. There's a part where Batman is talking to God, and by God I mean Morgan Freeman, and he shows him this device he's created or has control of at least, where it will just hack into everyone's cell phone and he can see anything that's going on in all of Gotham. And God is like, this is just wrong. This shouldn't exist. And that's basically what Palantir is. So it's not quite that invasive, but it easily could become that invasive because it's a data analysis company whose first and sole investor for many years was the CIA. Originally, it was mostly used against our enemies, but now it's being used for police departments against domestic threats. And while that sounds good on the surface, I highly urge you to watch the movie Minority Report and see how quickly this can go south. The founder and owner, I believe, of Palantir is Peter Thiel. And there's a whole bunch of interview clips of him like refusing to acknowledge that humanity is a good thing. Like I think part of him kind of wants to wipe out or at least subjugate humans. And in fact, he has specifically, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he's questioned democracy to some extent. And to be fair, I kind of agree with him. I think the dysfunction in Congress is pretty clear indicator that democracy doesn't work, at least not in its current form. There are some corrections that need to be made, but he definitely takes it from, well, there's an interview we're going to watch on stream later, so I'm going to reserve my statements about his state of mind until later. But the point is, everything you do on the internet is being tracked, and the internet is everywhere these days. Have you noticed that you can't take your battery out of your phone anymore? Any phone that is connected to a power source can be returned on remotely at any point in time, as long as it has power and is within connection range of a network. So if you're really that paranoid, I don't do anything that the government would care about except speak the truth. So I don't have one of these or anything like that. I might get one eventually once I get a bit larger, or if I get any surveillance scares like police or government officials showing up and trying to scare me into silence. But if you're worried about government oversight, there are things you can do to protect yourself and your family. Look into Faraday bags. They basically use physics to prevent the vast majority of electromagnetic signals from getting to your phone while it's in the bag or any device. It's important to keep in mind that any device can do that because of the Internet of Things, which Internet of Things means you have Alexa, but even beyond that, like people's fucking refrigerators and toasters are connected to the internet these days. It's kind of like in the Transformers movie where like I forget the little Decepticon what he was, but it's like your fucking toaster could be spying on you for the government. So especially with the censorship we're seeing on YouTube and the payment processors. And the most heartbreaking thing for me is that people are so dumb, they aren't even accepting it, but they're promoting it. On stream last night, I went in on this other small creator. I don't even remember his name. I'd never heard of him or seen him before, but he popped up with this video and my YouTube recommended. It was like 600 views or 6K views or something like that. Very tiny for YouTube. I like that YouTube is starting to show small videos right now. I'm making it a habit to click on these small videos. One, to try and convince YouTube's algorithm that it's good to keep showing people those. And two, because I'm a small creator myself, right? And if I'm not, hey, he wants to play. Charlie just swiped at my hand. He did it without his paws out, though. So I know he's just playing. He's not mad. He's just bored. He's like, why are you talking to that device in your hands? So instead of paying attention to me, right, buddy? So keep in mind that everything you do these days is being observed, and the level of data they have, they don't just know what you've done and what you're going to do, but they're getting pretty good at anticipating what you're about to do or what you would do in certain situations. Now, again, I'm not worried because I am a hardcore patriot. I have been a Cub Scout ever since I could join. In fact, I'm so deep into Boy Scouts that when I moved to a new city and there wasn't a active Cub Scout pack there, my dad, God bless his soul, he's still with us, but I don't get to see him that much right now because he's living down in a Caribbean island. he went and he rechartered an old Cub Scout pack that had gone defunct just so I could stay in Cub Scouts. Made a whole pack just for me. Like, that's some damn good parenting, you know? Uh, I love everything that man's ever done for me. Don't get me wrong. I've said some things, and when I start coming out with music, there's going to be some things in there, but everyone has their shortcomings. And to be fair, like, there's a lot of just, I think, like, it's natural for children to have disagreements with their parents, right? Because otherwise we can't grow. If we just think the way our parents did for our whole lives, then it ends up become a repeating cycle of just more of the same. We have a duty to our parents to grow beyond their limitations. So no matter what I may say in music or in some of these videos, I love my dad and my mom more than words can possibly describe, and so thankful for what they've done for me. After that, I went on to Boy Scouts. I got my Eagle Scout. I became a volunteer firefighter for over 10 years. I was in the Air Force ROTC for a little while, but I didn't stick with it because, as again, I've said this several times. My parents were helicopter parents. They definitely instilled a good set of morals and discipline in me, but maybe just a little bit. They didn't let me be a kid enough. So when I got to college, I was in Air Force ROTC for about one semester, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of old people that don't think in forward ways, yelling at me and telling me what to do. I'm going to go do my own thing. And I went and became a full-time theater major, picked up a double major of political science, and I didn't want anything to do. It's not even that I didn't want anything to do with the Air Force. It was just like I was sick of people telling me what to do. I I don't really do regrets. I figure everything's a learning experience. But if and I'm sure everything I've been through brought me to this point, because I've got some theories about reality, and apparently they're essentially the many worlds theory, which effectively means that every decision I've made brought me to this point specifically and helped me create this reality that we live in. So I wouldn't do anything differently in my life, because I feel like while I'm not exactly happy here, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I just need to learn to trust in God's vision and plan for me. And I don't know if happiness will ever come, but I do believe that I have a duty to serve God and my country. So I'm not worried about the government showing up and doing anything to me. And I would say, in a way, I'm kind of like a mining canary for freedom, because I'm generally kind of low key about it, but I am one of the most patriotic and peaceful people you will ever meet. I don't give a fuck to fuck with anyone else. I just want to sit in my backyard, drink coffee, play a little guitar, smoke a little weed, play a little video games, and leave everyone the fuck alone. I enjoy my freedom and my personal self-determination. And to be clear, if any of you government agents are watching, it's all 100% legal. It's technically not weed, it's hemp, legalized by the 2018 hemp farming bill. So it's not even Schedule 1, or if they reschedule it, Schedule 3 or Schedule 2 substance. It's literally 100% legal at every level of government here in PA, at least. Check your local state laws, because some states have either outlawed or restricted hemp. So my point is, if the government ever comes for me, no one is safe anymore. And that's when you'll know America is really on the way out. I still have hope that it's not too late for this country. I have to admit, I was really worried when Trump got reelected that things were going to spiral out of control quickly. And while I definitely don't agree with everything he's doing, I think his erosion of due process is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in this country. It's also just a natural progression of what the Democrats started. So what I'm really worried about is when the next Democrat comes into office, because the Democrats, I'm not Republican, by the way. Actually, technically, I'm registered a Democrat, but it would be more accurate to say I'm a left-leaning libertarian. The only reason I registered as a Democrat is because I have a good friend of mine, known him for basically my entire life, used to play baseball with him. He's one of the few dudes from the old town that I still fuck with, you know? He ran for local government, local council. And in Pennsylvania, you can only vote for primaries for the party that you're signed up for. So to vote for him in the Democratic primary, I switched from, I think I was libertarian, but effectively I've always been an independent voter. I changed my registration from libertarian to Democrat to vote for him. And the crazy thing is, I'm probably more Democrat than I am Republican, but the Democrats have lost the plot so much that they think I'm alt-right just because I'm pro-gun and pro-capitalist. But I'm also pro-universal income, pro all other, I'm just pro everything, right? So my point is, we need to remain vigilant. Palantir is very scary for a lot of reasons. And I want to say I don't believe there's any nefarious intent behind it, but I can't, which freaks me out a little bit. If you don't know what a Palantir is, it is a Lord of the Rings reference. If you've seen Lord of the Rings, you probably know what it is, even if you don't recall the name. So, early in the series, this may or may not all be in the theatrical versions. I have the extended versions of the movies, and those are the only ones that I've really seen and watched. So if you haven't seen the scene, go look them up on YouTube. They're both there. I reviewed them last night during the stream. But early in the series, Gandalf goes to visit Saruman. And Saruman's talking about all this crazy intel that he has based on what's going on in the world. And Gandalf's kind of like, hey man, how do you know all these things? And Saruman takes him into this back room where he has this crystal ball effectively on a stone pedestal. He pulls the covering off of it, and Gandalf's like, hold on, man, slow down. What the fuck is that? Oh, I know what that is. You shouldn't be playing with that. They call them the old seeing stones. And the issue, particularly with that, is that most of them are unaccounted for. There's only, as far as I'm aware, we were looking at the wiki a little bit yesterday. There's like 2 or 3 of them that are known to still exist, and or what their locations are. One of them being the one that Sauron had, of course. Saruman. So Gandalf goes and he takes the covering, puts it back over the Palantir, and for a moment you see a flash of Sauron's all-seeing eye. The reason why is because while the Palantir system was originally intended to be an innocuous form of communication, originally the ancient Númenóreans brought them to Middle-earth and spread them out around the region to use to communicate with each other and stay in touch and share information for defense and other beneficiary purposes, which is exactly what Palantir claims it's all about. However, eventually, as the Númenórean state collapsed and the world fell to darkness, they became used for much more nefarious means. And after becoming the possession of Sauron, he used it as surveillance and manipulation to control Saruman among other people. And it's the second time you see one, Aragorn grabs it specifically to taunt Sauron, and Sauron, in response, threatens him with the inevitable death of his beloved. And the reason why is because I think this is actually something beyond Sauron's control, but if I remember correctly, if a elf gives her love to a mortal, she loses her immortality. And so it's not even anything that's within Sauron's control, but it's just knowledge that he has obtained through these Palantirs and other versions of surveillance that he uses to try and control and threaten and manipulate people. And that's what this company is named after. A device that is used by the supreme evil of the world to threaten and control and manipulate people. Big Brother is real, and it's called Palantir. So, I want all of you to remain vigilant. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like 3 people that listen to this because no one ever pays attention to all my warnings. But I do feel like I need to say something. So at the very least, when I face God, I can tell him I did my best earnestly. But yeah, I'm going to go work on the basement a little bit. I've got some videos uploading and some edits rendering. And then once those are done and my internet and RAM are free again, I'll go stream. But in the meantime, I just want to say I love you all and God bless. Peace.